Okay, guys, welcome to my Thursday night, our Thursday night team call. We got some people calling in. Today's been an absolute crazy day. As you come on, just mute yourself. Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm blessed. So you might, hey, Janice, I want you guys to kind of bear with me today. Janice can probably vouch for me. We started our John Maxwell course today, and it was just a lot of information, a lot of powerful information, but just a lot of information. So, and those of you who have heard John, his notes he's kind of all over the place, but I just tell you guys, I don't know about you guys, but I'm having an amazing year. I'm just excited to be a part of this with all of you. Just to be a part of life with you guys. I mean, a lot of great things. A lot of you guys know I'm coaching this year. I'll give you a brief update on that. This school has never won in track, never won a district title. I ended up having both the boys and the girls. Was just supposed to have the girls. It was kind of a bucket list thing. I've been offered college coaching jobs, but Lisa and I don't want to leave Florida. And it just hasn't been, God just kind of hasn't worked it out that way. So I took this high school coaching job, and I've just been able to pour into the kids. And it's just been, I'll just tell you, it's been an amazing experience. And so I'm excited to be able to impart these things of leadership into you guys, because I'm just telling you, I need them. I met with my pastor this morning, and this year has just been an amazing year. And so from that standpoint, let me get started. I do want to talk about a couple things first before I get into this. And like I said, if you're just joining me, bear with me as I go through this, because John's kind of all over and I've got notes all over the place. Lisa came in and was kind of like laughing and joking, and we didn't realize we had the mic unmuted, and then Lisa Shepard heard us and was laughing. So just kind of bear with me. I want you guys to kind of think about the promotions that are going on right now. And I'm going to bring them up. Just let me bring them up on the screen. That's one of the things I really want to talk about just really quick is these promotions, okay? And you guys can see them here on the screen. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. They go through March. We've had some people already hit them. I know Ivy. Dr. Ivy Howard is on here right now. Congratulations. She just reached the rank of Pro 3. As you guys can see, that's an extra $500. I know there's some people on here right now that are pushing towards Pro 5. Guys, there's been a lot of enrollments this month. And it's kind of funny. You know how people say December is kind of the worst month? Well, at least in our check was the biggest it's been in a long time. And so things are happening, and I just want you guys to be encouraged. One of the things I took away from the pre-John Maxwell thing is, and I posted this on Facebook the other day, he said quitters or winners never, he used the word quitters. I don't like that word, but he said winners never quit something that's good for them. That was very impactful to me. He said winners never quit something that's good for them. So, and it was just, for me, it was just amazing. I was literally, and it kind of went with our business, because you guys know we have people that join, don't do nothing, they'll quit. We have people that get started, do really good, and then people leave, so they quit. If you're tied into the system and you believe and know what you have, and you know that this is your blessing, for me, and for I know you guys that are here on a Thursday night, quitting is really not an option. So, and just being with you guys as leaders and knowing that that's where we are. I'm going to bring up, Chris, are you unmuted real quick? Can you tell me if you can see this laws of awareness thing on here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through this a little bit. He changed some of it, but I'm going to send this to you guys tomorrow to my group, and any of you, I'm going to put it on our team page. so that you guys can have it. He's changed some of it, so I will talk to you guys about this. You can print this off as I send it to you, but if you're taking notes, some of them have changed. Some of the reflection questions have changed. So the first thing that John talked about is this law of awareness, okay? This law of awareness was the first thing he talked about is, and guys, this is very impactful stuff. I believe that this course is not going to only change my wife and I's life, but it's really going to change your life. And I believe that people who tie into this course, it's going to have an impact on not only their personal life, but their business, their family, and everybody involved that they can share this information with. And he said, you must know yourself to grow yourself. He said a lot of people don't take time to get to know yourself. And he said, no one can produce great things with who is not thoroughly in dealing with himself or herself. So think about it. No one can produce great things who is not thoroughly involved in dealing with himself or herself. Sorry about that. I thought I turned my phone off. And it kind of made sense. He used a couple amazing points about himself, about how he went through high school not really understanding himself. And as he grew into understanding who he was, he knew that he invested time in himself. And then he told this story, which was really good. And I'm gonna share it. He said, this husband and wife, they went to the doctor, and secretly the doctor pulled the wife aside and said, if you don't do these things for your husband, he's going to die. She's like, well, what do you want me to do? And he said, first, I want you to make him a good breakfast. Whatever he needs in the morning, give him some encouragement. And then when he comes home from lunch, make him a good lunch, invest some time in him. And then when he comes home from dinner, make him a great dinner. Don't give him any chores to do. Make him happy. Give him whatever he wants. And so they left the doctors, and they got in the car, and the husband said, well, what did the doctor say to you? And she said, he said, you're going to die. So it's just funny. And so he said, you're going to die. So, that one of the things that you really have to think about when you're investing in yourself, and this was really cool. He said this. He said, dreams must have a foundation. Think about this. Dreams must have a foundation. Okay? And so, and this is what he said on top of that. He said, you can't build a dream without having a solid foundation. Okay? So taking courses, investing in yourself. For us, it kind of spoke to me a lot about how we go to Life Vantage Academy, which is this Saturday, how we go to meetings to learn to present, how we do launch calls, how we sit in and listen to launch calls. I did a launch call the other night for a physical therapist out of California, and it just produced a lot of fruit. And then she said, Michael, can you teach me so that I can teach others? Can you tell me? And John talked about that in this course. He talked about investing and having a solid foundation. And then he said, number 5, which is number 3 on your chart there, he said, reality requires awareness. I just need to check and see who does it. There's some of you that aren't muted. So if you just came on late, just mute yourself. I'm trying to mute everybody. But if you've come on, just mute yourself. So he said, let me read that again. Reality requires awareness. Okay. And he said, which was awesome. And I don't know how Janice related to this, but she's a Christian counselor. She's taken this course with me too. And Janice, if you want to chime in on this at all, just let me know, and you can. She took the course today too. and it talked about counselors. And Janice knows I've counseled with a lot of people over my life, and I believe that it's important that you counsel. But he said counseling, and I think he said counseling works on weakness, equipping builds on strengths. And I'm just going to encourage, because I think Janice, as a counselor, I think Janice equips and builds on people's strengths. I think he's not saying that you don't go to counseling, but counseling works on weakness. Equipping builds on people's strengths and helps them conquer the things in their life that are their weaknesses. And so that was very compelling. And then he said there's 6 questions that need to be answered for you to fulfill the law of awareness. And number 1 was, do you like what you're doing now? Chris is on here, and we talk about it all the time. He removes dents from cars. I would say that it's not a lot of fun when it's 20 degrees, and we've talked about it. He doesn't want to do that anymore. So that's why he's constantly building a business that will allow him to do something that he's passionate about. And he's one of those 10%ers when it comes to our company. He's passionate about change. He's passionate about people. And John said, and this goes down to the first fill in blank down there, it says, most people are more comfortable with old problems than they are with new solutions. He said, people come to me all the time, and when we ask them, do you like what you're doing? And they say, I hate my job. It's the grind. It's I hate punching a time clock. I hate my boss. And he said they ask him what to do, and he says, quit. If you don't like what you're doing, quit. And he said people are alarmed by that. But he said, are you going to succeed in life if you continue to do something that you don't like to do? And I believe a lot of us are involved in this. Not only, guys, if you saw, I posted on Facebook that, actually a guy who used to be a good friend of my dad's for many years, the Lex Wexner, who owns the limited corporations, closed down all of their businesses, 4,000 people out of business. Lowe's got rid of all of their managers, assistant managers. You should have a reason and like what you're doing. And then the next fill in the blank down there was, it's very difficult in life to be fulfilled when you lose your heart. And I'm just going to tell you about myself. I loved being a trainer. I loved being a trainer, but my passion was still in servanthood and ministry. And that really came to the fruition this year because I laid it all down. And I decided that, when LifeVantage replaced my income, I decided that passion was not there anymore. And I told you guys, I met with my pastor today, and he said, your passion is God, your wife, and LifeVantage. And he said, that's why you're successful at those things. And so hopefully that can encourage you guys some. And then the next question there is, he changed it. He said, what would you like to do? He said, what would you like to do? And then he went down to the next fill in the blank there where it says, never leave something, always go to something. Never leave something, always go to something. And he said, it's funny that people quit a job and they won't go and look for another job. Okay. They won't allow themselves to believe in the things that the direction of where they're going. And he said, the next fill in the blank there is a relationship between finding your passion and reaching your potential. And then I like this. He said, belief plus giftedness is better than belief without giftedness. And it's funny, he said, he wishes that people were more like this. That they would just say, I'll use myself and say, hey, they would go to somebody and say, hey, Mike, I'm or I'll just use Jim because I see his name there. Hey, Jim, I'm Mike and I'm your friend, but you're not very good. People don't really like you. And so you're giving them instructions on how to build that belief and work with that giftedness that they're gifted in, and to not do things that they're not gifted in. And so the next question he asked was and he changed the wording. It says, can you do what you like to do? There it says, can you do what you want to do? He put, can you do what you like to do? He said, are you good at what you do? Okay. A lot of people are good at being doctors. A lot of people are good at, like Chris. I tell him, I hear people talk about him all the time about his job. And then John said, he said, a lot of people, he said, just take American Idol, for instance, the tryouts. He said, people are just bad. He said, they're really bad. He said, it's okay to be bad. He said, you can make things that you're passionate about, that you're bad at, a hobby, just don't make it a career. So we teach ourselves and we learn to divert that and concentrate. And he used golf. And those of you that know me know I love golf. And he said, I would love to be a professional golfer. He said, but I'm just not good. And he used a joke. He said, a guy said, John, you just have one problem. And John said, wow, I'm excited. I only have one problem and I can be a good golfer. He said, you're closer to the ball after you hit it than you should be. And some of you will probably get that later. But so he went on to the next thing, and he said, next line down there on that fill in, he said, giftedness trumps passion every day. Giftedness trumps passion every day. Okay? So let's go up to the next question. He says, and he changed this also. It says, do you know people who do what you want to do? And he put, do you know people who do what you like to do? Okay? Do you know people who do what you like to do? And he said, one of his mentors in life called this whose luck? Surrounding yourself around people who you just want to be like. And he said he's in the process of writing a book called The Power of Proximity. And he said, if you want to be like people, like certain people, then you surround yourself around great people. And, we hear that type of stuff all the time. You're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And friends, let me just tell you, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Lisa and I talk about it all the time. We narrow down our inner circle of people who are passionate about life, about succeeding in life, about, being a better person in life, paying it forward, having a servant's heart. And so those are the type of people that you want to hang around with. Then the next question that he talked about was, will you pay the price to do what you want to do? Okay. And he said almost, and then you go down to the blank down there. It says almost always when we stop growing, it's a price problem. Are you not willing anymore to pay the price? Is it too hard? And I think about this, Lisa and I had a leg in our business drop off, about a $25,000 leg a couple years ago. And anybody could have been discouraged. Some people would have been out of business. And it was hard, but we knew the purpose of the awareness and the reality that those things were going to happen. Okay. So we didn't say, oh, this is too hard. I've got to work. Like John said, some people say, you mean I really got to work at this? I got to do 3-way phone calls. I've got to call people. I got to do follow-up. So are you willing to pay the price? Okay. And then he said, the last one was, when can you start doing what you want to do? And he said, you can start today. Why not start today? He said, your life begins today. And he said the greatest book he ever read, it was given to him by a lady who used to work for him. And then he turned it in to a real book himself. And it's called The Greatest Story Ever. And when he opened it, it was all blank pages. And she said, John, go live your life with passion, making a difference, writing your story. And so he just began to write. He began to write John's story on being aware of the things in his life that he was passionate about. And he said several times when he was pastoring churches, he had a desire to be an author and a desire to do these things and a passion to do these things. And he said that at that time when he started writing his story, he began to understand this topic. And this is the next line down there. He said, you're either writing your story or you're reading your story. Think about that. You're either writing your story or you're reading your story. And then he said, the only person that writes your story is you. And a lot of people go through, it was very clear to me. He said a lot of people go through life hoping and wishing and never writing their own story. And so he made a statement at the end. He said, you can go back and make a brand new beginning. He said, we can't go back and start over. He said, but we can make a brand new beginning and a brand new end. I really like that. He said, can't go back and change the past, but you can make a brand new beginning and a brand new end. And then I'm just going to sum up a couple takeaways that he said. You guys can read them down there. He said, if you have a dream that you want to reach, it has to be built on reality. It's very difficult in life to be fulfilled when you lose your heart. He said he talked about a golfer that kind of lost his passion for golf. He said, it's probably time you give up golf. And then here's a myth. John's kind of funny. He said, stop saying, I believe. If you believe it, you can achieve it. He said, we even write songs about it. I believe I can fly. He said, you can't. No matter how long the runway is, you can't fly. And then, as I said, the only person that writes your story is you. And so what I'm going to do this last couple minutes, if you want to, I know Janice, you're on. Are you still on, Janice? Yes, you are. I'm going to unmute you. Janice, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you good. Why don't you just close this out and make a couple comments on how this first law of awareness was for you?
Well, without going into, if you'll permit me, Michael, I had a thought while you were sharing of a perspective.
Go ahead.
That I think is beneficial for all of us, because number one, we know John Maxwell's talking about leadership. And all of us on this call, is my hope and prayer that we want to become stronger leaders in whatever we do, Life Vantage, in our churches, in our families, wherever. And the contrast he was making about counseling and equipping, I thought of another phrase that I think is really relevant for all of us. Leaders empower others. Absolutely. And counselors, if we're doing our job, we are empowering people to walk in freedom. We're empowering people to walk in wholeness and healing.
Amen.
We're not trying to enable them to stay where they are. Leaders do not want to enable the people they care about to stay stuck where they are. Leaders are going to empower those around them to be better than they were, to strive to be more than they were, to strive to really gain another step forward in their walk in life. So I want to just encourage everybody, as you are thinking about all that Michael shared with regards to awareness, where are you in your level of being able to empower the ones around you and that you care about? Where are you with being able to look at your skill set and say, you know what, I could be stronger here. This is an area that I'm good, but I could be better. And one of the things that John Maxwell talks about all along his training in many different facets is the awareness of your strengths and focusing on those. Don't focus on your weaknesses.
Amen.
Because your strengths are going to complement someone else's strengths. And then together, they're strong where you're weak where they're strong. But together, if you both are doing with excellence what you're good at, then the whole movement of what you're doing becomes better. So my encouragement for everybody on the call in this whole process of awareness is recognize that we all have the power to equip and empower those around us to be better than they were before we were in their lives. And they do the same thing for us. So Mike, I hope
That's awesome. Yeah,
that helps.
absolutely. And you know, Janice, it's awesome. I thought about this. This is just a confirmation from what you said. You know, I have a lot of girls on the track team that were expecting another coach to be involved, and he ended up not being able to be involved. And so they kind of dug their heels in, and so now I've done that very thing. I've completely made it about them and reassured them that my goal is to make them the best they can be. And now, as we've progressed 4 and 5 weeks later, they are now where they were at the end of the season, 3 months before the end of the season, at the beginning of the season. So total confirmation. I think you guys hopefully got a lot out of this. I'm very grateful. I'm looking forward to getting Janice's feedback and my feedback and anybody else that's doing this. I will be a little bit more prepared next time because, as I told Janice, I couldn't log on in time. So I didn't log on till about 7:30. And so hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. I know I did. I will send you these notes if you want them. Just, you know, send me a message on Facebook or text me and I'll send them over to you, but I'm going to post them on our website. I'm grateful for all of you. You guys are awesome. I will tell you one last thing before we go. I know that Janice and Barbara and some of the other people have been doing team calls on launch calls. If you're not doing them, you need to schedule them. Don't be fearful. Schedule them. It's launch 60. It's launch 60. Don't talk about it. Just schedule it. It doesn't matter whether you have one person, five. You know, I told you guys I did one for Jill Warner the other day, and she said she got 4 potential distributors that she's meeting with one-on-one this week. So this is the best thing we've ever done with LifeVantage, just launch 60. And I'm grateful that you guys took time out to listen to me tonight. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful that this 2017 being a part of doing something with you guys is just going to be awesome. So thanks for being on. I love you all. God bless. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mike.